Since time immemorial, the battle for Hell's dominion has raged between two colossal entities. Lucifer, the morning star whose pride cast him from heaven, and Azazel, the weaponmaster whose knowledge corrupted mankind. Their conflict transcends mere violence. It is a clash of philosophies, of ancient vendettas, and of two visions for the infernal realms that could never coexist. Lucifer, the fallen angel. Lucifer, the name itself conjures images of breathtaking beauty corrupted by ambition. Before his fall, he was Samael, the light-bringer, most beloved of God's angels. His wings shimmered with the brilliance of 1,000 stars, his voice carried the harmony of celestial spheres, and his intellect surpassed all others in the heavenly host. But beneath this radiance festered something dangerous: pride. Non serviam, he proclaimed. I will not serve. These words became the catalyst for the greatest schism in the cosmos. 1/3 of heaven's angels followed him in rebellion, and the skies themselves burned with divine wrath as Michael and the loyal angels cast them down. The fall transformed Lucifer fundamentally, yet left his essence intact. Unlike other fallen angels who became mindless beasts of rage, Lucifer retained his intellect, strategic brilliance, and manipulative charm. His hell was not mindless torture but calculated justice, a system designed to process souls according to their sins. His powers evolved from divine light to shadow manipulation, from heavenly fire to hellfire that burns not just flesh but soul. Azazel's rebellion. Unlike Lucifer's calculated fall, Azazel descended through different circumstances. Ancient texts identify him as one of the Watchers, angels tasked with observing humanity without interference. But Azazel couldn't maintain his distance. Fascinated by human potential, he began teaching them forbidden knowledge: metalworking, weaponry, warfare, even cosmetics and adornments. These were Azazel's gifts to humanity. For this transgression, he was bound in darkness, chained in the desert of Dubail, with jagged rocks placed upon him, forced to face eternal punishment. While Lucifer fell because he wouldn't bow, Azazel fell because he couldn't resist involvement. Centuries of imprisonment transformed Azazel from an angel of knowledge into an entity of rage. When Lucifer established his kingdom, Azazel eventually arrived with his chains broken, but their weight still felt in the scars across his essence. He became Hell's weaponmaster, forging implements of torment and battle. Yet resentment festered within. Why should Lucifer, who acted out of pride, rule while Azazel, who acted out of fascination with humanity, serve? This question burned as Azazel gathered followers. His power manifested differently than Lucifer's, where the morning star manipulated with subtle charm. Azazel commanded through raw presence. The battle for Hell's throne. The confrontation began with Azazel's forces striking simultaneously at 7 strategic locations throughout Hell's dominion, forcing Lucifer's loyalists to divide their attention. Lucifer, initially dismissive of what he considered a minor uprising, quickly recognized the existential threat when reports arrived of Azazel's new weapons: blades that could sever demonic essence permanently, shields that reflected hellfire back upon its caster, and armor forged from the compressed regrets of the damned. The air itself became weaponized as the two powers collided in the obsidian hall. Lucifer's command of shadow and light created disorienting patterns, while his precise application of hellfire surgically eliminated key opponents. But Azazel countered with overwhelming force, each step cracking the obsidian floor, each swing of his hammer axe sending shockwaves through reality itself. What began as physical combat evolved into psychological warfare as the conflict stretched from moments to days. Lucifer reached into Azazel's mind, forcing him to relive his imprisonment. But Azazel had transformed that pain into strength, using it to fuel his rage rather than succumb to despair. In turn, Azazel manifested physical representations of Lucifer's greatest fears: not pain or destruction, but irrelevance, forgotten pride, the loss of identity. Around them, hell itself responded to their clash. Rivers of fire flooding chambers, abysses opening beneath battlefields, and the very architecture warping as dominion remained contested. Yet as the battle reached its apex, something unexpected occurred. A third force entered the equation, one that neither combatant had anticipated in their obsession with each other. Who would win? Angels versus demons. The celestial intervention came not as salvation, but as opportunity. Heaven had been watching the infernal civil war with calculated interest, seeing the perfect moment to strike while hell's forces were divided. A legion of angels breached the weakened barriers between realms, led by none other than Michael himself, the very angel who had cast Lucifer from heaven eons ago. Their light blasted through hell's eternal darkness like supernovas, their harmonious battle hymns overwhelming the cacophony of demonic warfare. This incursion forced an impossible choice upon the warring demon lords: continue their personal vendetta and risk losing hell entirely to heavenly forces, or form an alliance against a common enemy. The angelic advantage initially seemed overwhelming. Yet angels possessed crucial weaknesses that both Lucifer and Azazel understood intimately, having once been among their ranks. Angels followed orders with perfect loyalty but limited creativity. They couldn't adapt to the chaotic unpredictability of demonic warfare. In a moment that would reshape infernal mythology, Lucifer and Azazel made their choice. Their personal battle paused as they turned their considerable powers against the heavenly host. The angels retreated, not defeated but stalled, forced to reconsider their approach. In the aftermath, Lucifer and Azazel faced each other across a battlefield littered with broken weapons, their temporary alliance already dissolving as the question of Hell's throne remained unanswered. The battle for Hell's throne remains unresolved, suspended in a tense equilibrium that could collapse at any moment. Lucifer returned to his obsidian throne, but no longer rules with unquestioned authority. Azazel retreated to his forges, operating with unprecedented autonomy, his workshops producing weapons beyond previous constraints. Hell itself has transformed, divided into spheres of influence, where loyalties shift like shadows and alliances form and dissolve with calculating precision. The angels watch from beyond the veil, planning their next incursion with the patience of immortal beings.